सो हम क्या करेंगे अब स्टैंडर्ड 2A नॉन पब्लिक मटेरियल इंफॉर्मेशन के जो रिकमेंडेड प्रोसीजर्स हैं उनको पढ़ेंगे फ्रॉम द करिकुलम बुक करिकुलम ऑफ CFA लेवल 3 2024. ओके सो लेट्स स्टार्ट. ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लगेगा, 20 मिनट लगेंगे. पहला है अचीव पब्लिक डिसेमिनेशन. अगर मेंबर कैंडिडेट कोई मटेरियल इंफॉर्मेशन उसके हाथ लगती है देन member candidate should make reasonable efforts to achieve public dissemination of the information. These efforts usually entail encouraging the issuing company to make the information public for everyone. If public dissemination is not possible, member or candidate must communicate the information only to the designated supervisory या फिर compliance personnel. ठीक है, या तो सुपरवाइजर या कंप्लाइंस पर्सनल को ही आप बताइए within the members and candidates forms and must not take any investment action or alter current investment recommendation on basis of information. However, members and candidates must not knowingly engage in any conduct that may induce company insiders to privately disclose material non-public information. So, member candidates को कोई ऐसा काम नहीं करना चाहिए जानते हुए कि इससे वायलेशन होगा. ठीक है. Adopt compliance procedures. Members and candidates should encourage the firms to adopt compliance procedures to prevent the misuse of material non-public information. उसका यूज़ नहीं होना चाहिए. ठीक है, उसको कैसे प्रिवेंट कर सकते हैं. Particularly important is improving compliance in such areas as the review of employee and proprietary trading. उसका रिव्यू करो. Review of investment recommendations, documentations को रिव्यू करो. Of firm procedures, supervision of interdepartmental communication in multi-service firms. Interdepartmental communications को supervise करो, रिव्यू करो इन्वेस्टमेंट रिकमेंडेशंस को, रिव्यू करो डॉक्यूमेंटेशंस को, फर्म के प्रोसीजर्स को. Compliance procedures should suit the particular characteristics of firm, including its size and the nature of the business. Members and candidates are encouraged to inform their supervisors and compliance personnel of suspected inappropriate use of material non-public information as the basis for security trading activity recommendation being made within the firm. So, candidates को encourage करना चाहिए कि वो अपने सुपरवाइज़र और कंप्लाइंस पर्सनल या फिर कंप्लाइंस का जो भी बंदा है टीम में उनको जानकारी देनी चाहिए कि अगर इनएप्रोप्रिएट यूज़ हो रहा है किसी मटेरियल नॉन पब्लिक इंफॉर्मेशन का कंपनी में एज बेसिस ऑफ सिक्योरिटी ट्रेडिंग एक्टिविटी और रिकमेंडेशन बीइंग मेड, तो इसके बारे में बताना चाहिए. रिकमेंडेड है, दिस encouraged है. ठीक है. देन अडॉप्ट डिस्क्लोजर प्रोसीजर्स. डिस्क्लोजर करना अडॉप्ट करें. Members and candidates should encourage their firms to develop, follow disclosure policies designed to ensure that the information is disseminated to the marketplace in equitable manner. For example, analysts from small firms should receive the same information. ठीक है. Same information attention from the company as analysts from large firms receive. ठीक है. चाहे छोटी फर्म हो या बड़ी फर्म हो. Similarly, companies should not provide certain information to buy-side analysts, but not to sell-side analysts or vice versa. Furthermore, a company should not discriminate among an analysts in provision of information or blackball particularly analysts who have been given negative reports on the company in the past. Within investment and research firms, members candidates should encourage the development of and compliance with procedures of distributing new and updated investment opinions to clients. Recommendations of this nature may represent material market moving information that needs to be communicated to all clients fairly. Issue press releases. Companies should consider issuing press releases prior to analyst meetings and conference calls and scripting those meetings and calls to decrease the chance that further information will not be disclosed. If material non-public information is disclosed for first time in an analyst meeting or call, the company should promptly issue press release or otherwise make information publicly available. Firewall elements. An information barrier commonly referred to as firewall is most widely used approach for preventing the communication of material non-public information within the firm. It restricts the flow of confidential information to those who need not to know the information to perform their jobs effectively. The minimum elements of such system include but are not limited to the following. सो पहला ये है कि अडॉप्ट डिस्क्लोजर प्रोसीजर, फिर हमारा इशू प्रेस रिलीजेस, फायरवॉल एलिमेंट्स. कंपनी शुड कंसीडर issuing press releases to analyst meetings, okay, and conference calls and scripting those meetings and calls to decrease the chance that the further information will be uh, disclosed. If material non-public information disclosed for the first time in an analyst meeting or call, the company should promptly issue a press release or otherwise make the information public. मतलब वो गलती से अगर आपने गलती है, मतलब अगर आपने कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन ऐसी दे दी ड्यूरिंग द प्रेस अपने कॉन्फ्रेंस मीटिंग में, तो वो इमीडिएटली उसको पब्लिकली रिलीज कर देना चाहिए. ठीक है. An information barrier commonly referred to as firewall is most widely used. Firewall होता है, it acts as the information barrier for preventing communication of material non-public information within the firm. ठीक है, कोई firm है उसके पास है and it restricts the flow of confidential information to those who need to know the information to perform their jobs effectively. The minimum elements of such system include but are not limited to the following. Substantial control of relevant interdepartmental communications. ठीक है. So interdepartmental communications जो होती हैं उसका कंट्रोल रखना आपस में, वो फायरवॉल क्रिएट करके. ठीक है. प्रेफरेबली थ्रू क्लियरेंस एरिया. एक क्लियरेंस एरिया बना लो within the firm in either the compliance or legal department. Through clearance within the firm in either the compliance or legal department. ठीक है. Review of employee trading through the maintenance of watch restricted and rumor list. So employee trading को रिव्यू करना थ्रू मेंटेनेंस ऑफ वॉच रिस्ट्रिक्टेड और र्यूमर लिस्ट, वॉच लिस्ट या फिर र्यूमर लिस्ट और रिस्ट्रिक्टेड लिस्ट बना के रखना और रिव्यू करना, ट्रेडिंग करना, एम्प्लॉय ट्रेडिंग. क्लियरेंस एरिया बना के रखना, रिव्यू लिस्ट बना के रखना. ठीक है. डॉक्यूमेंटेशन ऑफ द प्रोसीजर डिजाइन टू लिमिट द फ्लो ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन बिटवीन डिपार्टमेंट्स एंड ऑफ द एक्शन टेकन टू इन्फोर्स दोज प्रोसीजर्स. Heightened review or restriction of proprietary trading while a firm is in possession of material non-public information. Proprietary trading का restrict करना, जब भी material non-public information है तो वो proprietary trading और ये सब restrict करके रखना. Okay. ठीक है. Appropriate interdepartmental communications जो है, although documentation requirements must for practical reason take into account the difference between the activities of small firms and those of large multi-service firms. Firms of all sizes and types of benefit, including the documentation of their internal enforcement of firewall procedures. Therefore, even at a small firm, procedures concerning interdepartmental communication, the review of trading activity, and the investigation of possible violation should be compiled and formalized. Physical separation of departments, as a practical matter, to the greatest extent possible. Firms should consider the physical separation of departments and files to prevent the communication of sensitive information that should not be shared. For example, the investment banking and the corporate finance areas of brokerage firm should be separated from the sales and research departments. इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग कॉर्पोरेट फाइनेंस के पास बहुत इंफॉर्मेशन होगा, इंटरनल इंफॉर्मेशन होगा, दैट शुड बी सेपरेटेड फ्रॉम द सेल्स एंड रिसर्च डिपार्टमेंट. बैंक्स कमर्शियल लेंडिंग डिपार्टमेंट शुड बी सेग्रेटेड फ्रॉम द ट्रस्ट एंड रिसर्च डिपार्टमेंट्स. इस पे बहुत क्वेश्चंस बनते हैं. प्रिवेंशन ऑफ पर्सनल ओवरलैप. ठीक है, अब इसमें क्या हो सकता है, पढ़ना पड़ेगा. देयर शुड बी नो ओवरलैप ऑफ पर्सनल बिटवीन द इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग और कॉर्पोरेट फाइनेंस. अच्छा ठीक है, तो जो इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग में काम कर रहा है वो कॉर्पोरेट फाइनेंस मतलब आई मीन जो इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग कॉर्पोरेट फाइनेंस में काम कर रहा है और brokerage firm and the sales and research between the banks commission lending. अच्छा, ओवरलैप नहीं होना चाहिए. इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग वाला बंदा जो है वो आपका रिसर्च डिपार्टमेंट या फिर कमर्शियल लेंडिंग डिपार्टमेंट, सेल्स डिपार्टमेंट और इसमें नहीं होना चाहिए. मतलब जो इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग में कॉर्पोरेट फाइनेंस में वो वहीं रहेगा और सेल्स और रिसर्च वाला अलग रहेगा. ठीक, तो ओवरलैप नहीं होना चाहिए कि एक ही बंदा दोनों काम कर रहा है. For a firewall to be effective in multi-service firm, an employee should be on only one side of the firewall at a one time. Firewall में एक साइड ऑफ में ही होना चाहिए. ओके. Inside knowledge may not be limited to information about specific offering or current financial condition of company. Analysts may be exposed to much information about the company, including new product uh, development, future budget projections, and that clearly constitute inside knowledge and thus preclude the analyst from returning to his or her research function. For example, an analyst who follows a particular company may provide limited assistance to investment bankers under controlled circumstances when the firm's investment banking department is involved in a deal with the company. Okay, so कोई अगर एनालिस्ट है जो एक पर्टिकुलर कंपनी को रिसर्च कर रहा है, ठीक है, तो वो कोई मतलब उसको फॉलो करता है, एक पर्टिकुलर कंपनी का एक्सपर्ट है, सो लिमिटेड असिस्टेंस टू द इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकर्स can provide limited assistance to the investment bankers under carefully controlled circumstances when the firm's investment banking department is involved in a deal with the company. The analyst must be treated as though he or she were an investment banker. ठीक है? The analyst must remain on investment banking side of the wall. जो analyst है must remain on the investment banking side of the wall until any information he or she learns is publicly disclosed. In short, the analyst cannot use any information learned in course of project for research purposes and cannot share the information with colleagues in research department. लेकिन ये बहुत अच्छा है, इसको मैं रेड मार्क करूँगा क्योंकि इम्पोर्टेंट है, इसको बाद में हम पढ़ सकते हैं. ठीक है, दोबारा. सो रिपोर्टिंग सिस्टम क्या होगा, फिर पर्सनल ट्रेडिंग लिमिटेशन क्या होगी, रिकॉर्ड मेंटेनेंस क्या होगी, प्रोप्राइटरी ट्रेडिंग प्रोसीजर्स क्या होगा, कम्युनिकेशन टू ऑल एम्प्लॉइज क्या होगा, ये सब हमें पढ़ना. सो अब आते हैं हम रिपोर्टिंग सिस्टम के ऊपर. रिपोर्टिंग सिस्टम primary objective of an effective firewall procedure is to establish a reporting system in which authorized people review, approve communication between departments. If an employee behind a firewall believes that he or she needs to share confidential information with someone on the other side of the wall, ठीक है, so कोई एक ऑथराइज पर्सन होगा रिव्यू करेगा, अप्रूव करेगा कम्युनिकेशन दो साइड्स ऑफ द वॉल के बीच में. If an employee behind a firewall believes that he or she needs to share confidential information with someone on the other side of the wall, the employee should consult designated compliance officer to determine whether sharing the information is necessary and how much information should be shared. If the sharing is necessary, the compliance officer should coordinate the process of looking over the wall so that the necessary information will be shared and the integrity of the procedure will be maintained. A single supervisor or compliance officer should have the specific authority and responsibility of deciding whether the information is material or not, whether it is sufficiently public to be used as a basis for investment decision. Ideally, the supervisor or a compliance officer responsible for communicating information to firms, research, or professional would not be a member of that area. Ideally, the supervisor or compliance officer responsible for communicating the information to firms, research, or a brokerage area would not be a member of that area. ठीक है. Personal trading limitations. So इसमें क्या है, firm should consider restriction or prohibitions on personal trading by employees and should carefully monitor both proprietary trading and personal trading by employees. Firms should require employees to make periodic reports of their own transaction and transactions made for the benefit of the family members. Securities should be placed on restricted list when a firm has or may have a material non-public information, and the broad distribution of restricted list often triggers the sort of trading the list was developed to avoid. Therefore, a watch list shown to only the few people responsible for compliance should be used to monitor transactions specifically. The use of a watch list in combination with restricted list is increasingly common means of ensuring effective control of personal trading. Then record maintenance. Record maintenance में क्या आएगा? Multi-service firms should maintain written records of communication between the various departments. कोई भी communication हो रहा है तो उसका written record होना चाहिए. Firm should place a high priority on trading and should consider instituting comprehensive training programs, particularly for employees in sensitive areas. So training भी motivate करो, training करना. Proprietary trading procedures. Procedures concerning the restriction or review of firms' proprietary trading. While the firm possesses material, non-public information will necessarily depend on types of proprietary trading in which the firm may engage. A prohibition on all types of proprietary trade activity when a firm comes into possession of material non-public information is not appropriate. ठीक है, अगर सारी टाइप की ट्रेडिंग को बंद कर देना इज नॉट appropriate. For example, when a firm acts as a market maker, a prohibition on proprietary trading may be counterproductive to the goals of maintaining confidentiality of information market liquidity. This concern is particularly important in relationships between small and regional broker dealers and small issuer. In many situations, a firm will take a small issuer public with understanding that the firm will continue to be market maker in the stock. In such instances, a withdrawal by the firm by market making activity would be a clear tip to outsiders कि मार्केट मेकिंग कर रहे थे और ये सडनली बंद कर दिया. The firm that continue market making activity while in possession of material on purpose should, however, instruct their market makers to remain passive with respect to market. That is to take only contra side of the unsolicited customer trades. In risk arbitrage trading, the case of trading prohibition is more compelling than it is in the case of market making. The impetus for arbitrage trading is neither passive nor reactive. The potential for illegal profit is greater than in market making. The most prudent course for firms is to suspend arbitrage activity when a security is placed on the watch. So arbitrage activity को suspend कर दो. Those firms that continue arbitrage activity face a high hurdle in proving the adequacy of their internal procedure for preventing trading on material non-public information must demonstrate a stringent review and documentation of the firm trades. Communication to all employees. Member candidates should encourage their employees to circulate written compliance policies and guidelines to employees. To all employees, policies guidelines should be used in conjunction with training program aimed at enabling employees to recognize material non-public information. Such information is not always clearly identifiable. Employees must be given sufficient training to either make an informed decision or to realize they need to consult a supervisor or compliance officer before engaging in questionable transaction. So employees must be given sufficient training to either make an informed decision or to realize they need to consult a supervisor or compliance officer before engaging in questionable transaction. तो कोई भी questionable transaction है, you should involve consult supervisor compliance officer. Appropriate policy reinforce that the using non-material publication material non-public information is illegal in many countries. Such trading activities based on material non-public information undermine the integrity of the individual and the firm in the capital markets. ठीक है फिर, थैंक यू. नेक्स्ट वीडियो में हम स्टैंडर्ड्स के जो भी एग्जांपल्स हैं वो सब कवर अप करेंगे. थैंक यू.